हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू अनदर एपिसोड ऑफ सैम इज द क्रिटिक। आज का एपिसोड थोड़ा डिफरेंट होगा क्योंकि आई हैव डिसाइडेड कि आई विल यूज़ हिंदी। अभी मेरे को हमेशा कमेंट्स मिलते रहते हैं कि आयुष आप हिंदी में क्यों नहीं करते पॉडकास्ट, क्योंकि हम सब हिंदी एक हिंदू देश में रहते हैं, हिंदुस्तान ऑल। बट देन इंडिया डजंट हैव अ नेशनल लैंग्वेज, सो आई कैन डू वट एवर आई वॉन्ट। But then still, most of my friends are Hindi speaking, and I do want some of my relatives who prefer Hindi to be listening to it. Do I want my relatives to be listening to it? I don't know. Whatever it is, थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी मिक्स होगा आज के एपिसोड में. आई थिंक दैट विल क्रिएट अ प्रॉब्लम विद द ऑडियंस विच इज़ वॉचिंग फ्रॉम आउटसाइड ऑफ इंडिया, बट देन आई डोंट थिंक मैनी पीपल आर. तो क्या फ़र्क पड़ता ज़्यादा, है ना? Today I'm going to be talking about two films that I've watched in the past week. Okay, and the first film that I'm going to be talking about, this will be a quick description. Okay, it won't be too long. Hopefully, I'll try to suppress it as much as I can, but then I'll make sure कि आपको एक अच्छा informative podcast मिल जाए about what to watch, and at the same time you feel कि I have talked about my perspectives on the film if you've already watched them. First film that I'm going to talk about is Noah Baumbach directed Marriage Story. Now this film came out in 2019, and it was a very popular film. Most people did watch it. Netflix produced this film. It stars it stars Adam Driver. I'm sure कि आप सबको पता है Adam Driver कौन है. He played Kylo Ren in Star Wars, and then obviously the very popular Scarlett Johansson is in the film. Scarlett Johansson played, Black Widow in Avengers, and everyone knows her too. And this story is basically, as the title suggests, a marriage story. कुछ लोग बोलेंगे कि शायद इस मूवी का नाम डिवोर्स स्टोरी होना चाहिए था, राइट? इट्स अबाउट अ डिवोर्स एंड हाउ इट टेक्स प्लेस, बट देन आई थिंक द टाइटल एज मैरिज स्टोरी इज मोर एप्ट. बिकॉज हम हमेशा फिल्म्स देखते हैं जिसमें कपल मीट, दे गेट टुगेदर, दे गो टू फ्यू डेट्स, दे हैव सम इशू विथ ईच अदर, दे फाइट फॉर अ वाइल, थोड़ी देर लड़ने के बाद दे कम बैक टुगेदर, and then after that they get married, right? So that is like a marriage story, a love story where they get together at the end. This essentially is a film where a couple falls out of the marriage. They have issues with not each other exactly, but about what they want in life and how their goals differ as people. मैं पूरा प्लॉट स्पॉइल नहीं करने वाला आप लोग के लिए, so don't worry if you not watch the film. But then this movie is pretty much about how these two parents get separated, how this loving couple that used to be, and how कैसे एक कपल जो एक दूसरे को इतना प्यार करता है कैन ऑल्सो ब्रेक अपार्ट बिकॉज ऑफ मिसकम्युनिकेशन एंड issues that they can't seem to agree upon. But then एक चीज़ मैं आपको बोलना चाहूँगा कि by no means this is a sad film, okay? I mean, yes, it does have themes of sadness and despair, but then at the same time I feel that this film is very optimistic in tone. It's very the color palette and it's very bright overall, the film. I think the director Noah Baumbach was going for that. अभी मैं थोड़ा आपको बताया था नोआ बॉम्बैक के बारे में. When he was a child, उनके पेरेंट्स का भी डिवोर्स हुआ था. That had a very adverse effect on him as a child. He saw how a divorce can negatively have a huge impact on children, right? And that's why जब वो बड़े हो गए तो he made a film called The Squid and the Whale. And in that film he showcased negative effects of a divorce on children, and how sometimes when parents antagonize each other and play games against each other, that can really affect the children. That film basically antagonizes the parents. It says that the parents were responsible for a lot of harm on the children. This film, on the other hand, shows how sometimes in some marriages which break apart, there are no monsters. There's no big antagonist. कोई भी blame करने के लिए नहीं होता. In this film, what they're trying to show is कि sometimes marriages just break apart. पर देन इस फिल्म का मैसेज ये है कि जस्ट बिकॉज अ मैरिज इज़ ब्रेकिंग, इट डज़ नॉट मीन कि आपको एक ख़राब पेरेंट बनना पड़ता है. दिस फिल्म ब्यूटिफुली शोकेसेस हाउ टू पीपल हु आर लविंग इन नेचर, जो एक दूसरे से प्यार करते थे या फिर अपने बच्चे से खूब प्यार करते हैं, दे कैन को पेरेंट, एंड हाउ दे कैन लिव टुगेदर as a family even after breaking apart. It's a beautiful film. I suggest you watch it. The cinematography is great. The shots are shot amazingly. There's this one specific scene in the courtroom that is shot very well. एक scene जिसमें Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson are arguing with each other about the custody. That scene, I think, it's the most popular scene of the film. The acting in that scene is phenomenal. दोनों ने कमाल का काम किया है. Adam Driver literally nails the the painful feeling that is when you're shouting at someone, but then you're shouting at them with so much angst you start crying because you don't know this emotion, this pain in the throat, that lump that forms, and then you slowly break down and start crying. He does it so well. I can't imagine how someone can bring that feeling out of nothing. So I think he obviously had some experience with it. Very good film, very well directed, very well acted, great screenplay, and most importantly, the message is beautiful and it's very optimistic. I absolutely love how he handled it. He basically showed that even in a divorce, people can have a love story. They obviously still love each other even if they're not together anymore, and they'll always have each other's back, no matter even if it doesn't make sense. So yeah, it was very emotional ride, and I cried like 3 times throughout the whole film. So yeah, watch out for crying. If you cry in films, then this is a film for you. uh, okay, so that's Mad Story for you. And the second film that I'm going to be talking about is Love and Monsters. So now, Love and Monster isn't that emotionally complex of a film. It's a very chill mannered film about this guy who's living in post-apocalypse. 7 साल पहले the world had an apocalypse situation जिसमें एक asteroid was going to hit the earth. So scientists made these rockets which would launch and attack the asteroid and break it into pieces so that it doesn't have a huge impact. But then क्योंकि those rockets had some chemicals जो नीचे गिर गए, and then that created these mutated lizard monsters. If you're a person like sci-fi apocalypse films, and this is a movie for you. There are plenty of monsters. There's a lot of good scenes of him fighting the monsters. Yeah, the story is about this special boy. Special because even in the post-apocalypse, this guy does very little work. He's not a incredible survival type guy. You would not expect someone like him to survive. His name is Joel, and he has this girlfriend he used to have 7 years ago called Amy, and he somehow finds her address and decides to go to her. Yes, I know that is very reckless and very romantic, but then it's kind of dumb. So that is what the film is about, and how he encounters a lot of monsters throughout his ways. He learns how to become this survival, his experience throughout. That's not a gritty film. It's kind of very lighthearted. There's this dog called Boy, and yes, Boy is the best thing in the film. It completely changes the dynamics of the film. There's a very cute relationship that our main character, played by Dylan O'Brien, I'm sure everyone fucking loves him. His name is, he played something in Teen Wolf, Styles or Stills, I don't know. Everyone just keeps talking about it and I have no idea. Like, I did not watch Teen Wolf, I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, I watched that Vampire Diary show, but then it just was a mistake. That's it. And yeah, so basically this film is very optimistic too, even though it's kind of not supposed to be. It's very inspiring, it's very fun. It's a PG-13 film, so anyone above the age of 13 can watch it. It's a family film essentially. I suggest you watch it with your family if your family is the kind of family that would watch this film. I think you should watch it if you like that kind of film, but definitely do watch Mad Story. I give that one a 9 out of 10. This one gets a 7 out of 10. And that's my time for today. These 10 minutes, I hope you enjoyed it. You didn't get too bored. I did not put too much background music because I don't like it personally. That's all, and thanks for watching.